I did 5 weeks of volunteer work in South Africa, and it was hands down the richest experience of my life. If it's an option for anyone, I'd recommend it in a heartbeat. In this video, I want to explain how I did it, the cost of traveling, including things other than money, and how you can do it. Also, this isn't applicable to just South Africa. This can be applied to anywhere that you want to travel. So why volunteer when you could just travel independently? My whole life, Africa has been a huge bucket list item for me. And so if I went there, I knew I wanted to make sure every day counted. I wanted to be doing something that was bigger than just me. I think a lot of people that travel internationally can sort of relate to this. It's an expensive endeavor, and so if I was going to spend all this money, I wanted to make sure that I was creating memories that I could take all the way to my deathbed. I could have just booked my flight and used a website called World Packers, which essentially allows you to do work for housing. It allows you to go places for really cheap, and I could have saved a lot of money, but my time and experience would have been tampered with. If I'm already spending all this money, I want to make sure I'm spending it on exactly what I want. By choosing a volunteer program, my expenses covered housing, food, and something to do every single day I was there, and that something was extremely fulfilling and satisfying. Now for the fun part. Figure out where you want to travel. What interests you? Is it animals, big tall mountains, people and culture, blue beaches with white sand, or maybe intricate architectural cities? Once you have that location, it's time to find out if there's any volunteer programs in that area. The two main websites that I used to find my program was GoEco and Volunteer HQ. I've found that GoEco is very animal oriented, or at least that's what their advertisements seem to push out, and they also seem to have a ton of more options. When I was using Volunteer HQ, it was a much more enjoyable user experience, but I didn't feel like I could find exactly what I was looking for. But maybe you will. I'd also like to point out that both of these websites are just hubs for volunteer companies to post their listings on there. When I signed up through GoEco, I thought the company I was working for was GoEco. I didn't actually figure out that it was a different company until I literally arrived at the base. That's not really important, but it's a good note to jot down. Once you've found a program that you want to be a part of, apply to it. For most, if not all programs, you'll need some form of interview/background check just to make sure you're not some serial killer. A lot of programs will require a criminal history report, proof of travel insurance, passport information, and proof of vaccines, assuming the place you're going to requires certain vaccines. It's also very important to note that you should not buy your flight before you apply to the program. Once you've been accepted, you'll get given information about your flight details and when you should book it. A lot of these companies only pick up from airports on certain days of the week at certain times, and so if you book your flight beforehand, you're gonna have to make some changes most likely. Now, I want to take a moment to talk about vaccines, because this moment almost caused me to not travel. Traveling internationally presents risks. There's new viruses and new bacteria that your body might not be used to where you're originally from, so it can be important to get the necessary shots and or medications to help negate that. Mine and most, if not all, programs recommended for me to see a travel clinic to see what kind of things I would need. So I booked an appointment with a travel clinic near my area. When I arrived, the clinic was in an office building, and it just didn't feel very professional. I felt like I was walking into a dorm room. It was literally just me and this doctor. There were no other patients, and she wasn't dressed very formally. It just gave me a kind of a weird feeling. I sat down with her, and she had already prepared all the vaccines that I would need. And where did she get all this information? From the official CDC website, going over travelers' health. This is something that everyone in the US has free access to find out what sort of vaccines work for them based on where they're traveling, what's recommended, and what you should, maybe shouldn't get, what you do and might not need. And so I had already gone through that myself, so seeing that we were both getting the information from the same spot, I just didn't feel like my time was being valued. I knew I needed to renew my tetanus shot, and I needed to get malaria pills, and then I also wanted to get a typhoid shot just in case I drank bad water. And she agreed with all that, but she was also very persistent on me getting the rabies shot. Now, from the research I had done, South Africa does have rabies. It is prevalent in certain areas, but those certain areas are often very populated, and it's all from basically stray dogs. That's basically all it comes from. And I knew where I was going was going to be remote, away from all that, so I didn't feel like I needed it. On top of that, the rabies shot costed over $1,000. Isn't that insane? Yeah, insurance didn't cover it. And so when I found that out, I was very bummed out, and I felt like all the costs were just adding up, and it was just seeming unfeasible. And so I asked her, would you recommend for me to go to South Africa if I didn't get this shot? and she just straight up told me no. And I felt defeated, I'm not gonna lie. I thankfully declined getting any vaccines from her, and I just sort of wrapped up the appointment and went home. I was pretty convinced I just wasn't gonna do it, but I decided to do some research on my own to find out if I really did need this vaccine. After my time of research, I decided to get the tetanus shot, the typhoid shot, the malaria pills, but no rabies. And I never did get the rabies shot. And I also never felt like I should have gotten the rabies shot while I was in South Africa. It is vital to get a second opinion, especially from someone like a doctor. But it's also important to know what you're doing and where you're going. You know a lot more information than what your doctor does about where you're going location-wise. So take in the input, but also make an educated decision. Like I mentioned earlier, the CDC offers a wonderful website going over the recommended vaccines for where you're traveling to. That's linked below, so please check that out if you're trying to travel internationally. It's a great resource, very user-friendly, I felt like, very easy to get the information. Next is travel insurance. I've always seen travel insurance as this daunting thing that you have to get approved for. If you get approved, it's gonna be really expensive, and blah, blah, blah. I always thought it was going to be this complicated thing to get done. But I literally looked up travel insurance on Google, did a couple of website searches, found the one I liked, and I bought it. It was as simple as that. I used Atlas Travel Insurance by World Trips, but you should make sure you find the travel insurance that fits for you and has the rates that you're looking for, and also the coverage that you're looking for. There's this website called travelinsurance.com, also linked below, that will scour the internet for you based on all your needs and will list the best sort of insurances that would be best for you. Now the exciting part, time to get into the cost of it all, money-wise. I'm just one example. Costs can greatly vary, and frankly, I'm on the expensive side when it came to this. The actual volunteer program, which is what costed me the most, was $4,140. This included the housing, 3 meals a day, transfers from the airport from and to, and a 24/7-hour support service. And of course, that very rich experience that I keep preaching. I live in Texas and I had to travel all the way to South Africa, so it was a very expensive ticket. My round-trip ticket cost me $1,687.70. I then had to buy a separate round-trip ticket to do one small flight from Johannesburg to Hoedspruit. It was only about an hour flight there and back, but that in total cost me $221.67. So in total, flying costed me $1,909.37. Next, the travel insurance costed me $76.83. This was a little more on the expensive side. I just felt like spending the extra $10 to $20 to get the max coverage, just in case if something went really wrong. Finally were the leisure costs. Because I spent so much money on this trip, I wanted to budget my experience. I want to make sure I wasn't spending too much money while I was there, because the program itself was already giving me so much, so I really didn't need to spend that much money outside of it. I budgeted $350 for any snacks, souvenirs, experiences, etc. And I managed to stay within that budget, and I got snacks every single week, bought a couple souvenirs, I went quad biking on a weekend, I spent 2 days in Kruger National Park, all of that under the $350, so I felt like that was pretty good. So in total, after everything was said and done, I spent $6,476.20. Is that a lot of money? Oh yes, that is a ton of money. There are definitely cheaper ways to travel, and for a volunteer program, I was on the expensive side, like I had mentioned earlier. Africa was just something I wanted to do, and if I was going to spend thousands of dollars, I would have rather spent a couple extra thousand to go to Africa than spent a couple less thousand to go to somewhere that I wasn't as excited to go to. And I truly don't regret a single penny I spent. I think my experience was completely worth the cost. I got a chance to be surrounded by like-minded people doing like-minded things, people that I still talk to this day. Other costs outside of money that I would like to mention is the distance from close ones. Solo traveling internationally can make it really hard to stay in communication with your loved ones. I was lucky enough to have Wi-Fi at my place, but there's a lot of places that don't. On top of that, there was an insane difference in time zones, and so even if I was available to talk, oftentimes my people that I cared about weren't. Although an advantage of choosing a volunteer program is that I was surrounded by people that I could trust in a country that I was unfamiliar with. It made me feel a lot safer trying to navigate the country than if I were to do it alone. So that's my rundown on how to volunteer internationally. I hope you enjoy this information. If you have any questions whatsoever, just comment them down below. I will respond as fast as I can. I've left links of all the websites that I mentioned in the description, so please check those out if you're interested in this. And if you're curious, check these videos out to see what my experience was actually like.